Welcome to another episode of Caribbean Discoveries, and today we're in a village called San Fernando, here to check out San Fernando Hill. And here to show us the area, tell us a little about San Fernando Hill, is Aaron, our tour guide. Tell us.
Hi, welcome again to Caribbean Discovery. I'm Aaron Silkan, tour guide officially, Trinidad and Tobago.
Right? Official tour guide.
So we are here on a natural landmark, San Fernando Hill. San Fernando Hill is commonly known to the San Fernandonians as the Hill. To people on the textbook in terms of social studies will be know it formally as Naparima Hill. And San Fernando Hill was much larger than you see today, but due to a lot of quarrying in the 1970s, aggressive quarrying in the 1970s, the hill is reduced to its current size. Approximately 197-98 meters above sea level is the average height at the highest point, right? It also was like a sacred site for Amerindians back in the early 16, 17, 1800s. So they used to journey all the way up from Venezuela, and they come here as a sacred site. Of course, due to time and changes and everything, that no longer really happens.
So we didn't even preserve the culture?
Preserving colonialization,
you
know, messes up a lot of things. It also brings a lot of new things too, you know with it, right? Today we could even take a look at one of the nice flora of the hill, which is a tree that is not native to the hill, nor native to Trinidad and Tobago. It's an African flamboyant tree. It tends to come into bloom around this time of the year. You have them in red and you have them sometimes in yellow. All right. So from here,
you're taking us to the top of the hill?
We're going to make an adventurous trek up the hill.
Right. So this is not for the faint of heart.
No.
We're taking the adventurous route rather than to drive to the top of the hill.
Yes.
And he's going to take us to a location not known to many.
It might be considered a lover's corner.
A lover's corner. So we're going to check that out today. So we'll show you the video as we go along.
So we are moving into the dry season, but during the rainy season we have a nice little waterhole facility here. It's not official, right?
People come and bathe here?
And it's not advertised by the authorities for bathing, but people do come and bathe here, right? People do actually come here. This is actually one of the entry points that we have here, right? Where people will come in and go into the water, and then we have another entry point on the other side.
So people actually bathe at these points?
Yes, they do bathe. The water is generally clean in terms of clarity. It has a lot of marine life in it, and other than amphibious stuff, we have actual fishes. I think there's about 2 species of fishes inside here. Some people say it's a cascarad species. I can't say. I'm not diverse there. You know, but we have some really large fishes that could get up to about that size.
Wow, that big?
Here. Yeah. But the lake as you see it here, the mini lake as you see it here, actually could get very small during a very harsh dry season. Very, very, very small, to almost the point where it's almost non-existent. And when the rain comes back in a matter of days with good rain,
fills up back.
We're back where we started.
Okay. Never knew it had this side to come up to San Fernando, eh?
They thought they might have been there the regular thing, eh?
Yep.
Now as you ascend on the hill, the rocks you will notice are very loose because of the type of soil it is. It's a sort of muddy rock. It is high in aluminum content and silica. A lot of the material were used in the 1970s and the 80s boom for road building and land reclamation. Due to protests in the 1980s, quarrying came to an end on this hill in 1980.
But they're still quarrying around the country though.
Yes. And we actually had 1 or 2 illegal quarrying on the hill.
Let's see how our Guyanese folks are doing. Straight from GT!
Good?
I swear. Oh.
Not as easy as it looks, sir?
No, it's not.
Caribbean Discoveries doesn't do it because it's easy.
Not at all.
But because it is hard. So from here we can even get a better view on your left. You're going to see the Manny Ramjan Stadium. The Manny Ramjan Stadium is another major site. The Gulf of Paria, also known as the Gulf of Wales. Last time whales were found sighted there were like in the 1940s. There were over 200 whaling stations that lined the Gulf of Paria at one point in time.
Wow.
Because we had a mass amount of whales that used to come into the Gulf of Paria during the season and then also outside of the season. And of course those whales were harvested for their oil. And last time sighting were actually sighted of whales in recent times were actually around 2000, 2003. They actually saw 2 of the whales coming into the Gulf, which supposed to signify positive response of probably a possible whale population returning back to the Gulf of Paria, using it as a nesting ground. For the Gulf of Paria is naturally a hurricane-resistant harbor, excellent shelter against maritime weathers and conditions. Whoa.
On the vines if you want.
You open your push up? I made it! That is lovely.
So what you're actually seeing here is Venezuela.
Careful.
Venezuela is, after you pass all those little humps in the ocean, and the moment you start to see the hill going all the way back up,
That's Venezuela?
that is Venezuela right there. That is how close we are.
Wow.
That is how close we are. And today is generally a clear day that you could actually see. Sometimes it's much clearer than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is by the port, right? By
This is the refinery.
this refinery.
Actually, what you see
Where those boats are is
Right.
now by the.
this will be Petrotrain in San Fernando here, well, point up here. But you see where you see the white tanks? That is actually Central Trinidad in Point Lisas. That's up in the Cuba area. That is how very close they are.
Okay, wow.
And beyond that is where you're going to, if you could possibly make out some of the buildings at the sport that's been right in the background there. So, yeah. Sorry.
The village is right there. Wow.
So I'm showing you Venezuela. After you pass the islands, you just drop some hops in the water. And you begin, you start to see the mountain rising. That's Venezuela right there.
What?
So you see when our wives and our girlfriends are giving us problems, we just simply send across some US dollars and we get some wives in return. Yeah. Our Venezuelan wives are like the Russian version, the American Russian wives, you know, those American women giving problems. You send for a Russian wife. I mean, look at Donald Trump.
People, we
Good
try
play.
to say Trinidad don't have enough good girls.
No, I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. Please, don't start any Twitter feed or anything. But what I'm simply saying, if you give problems, you have a backup plan. It's called Venezuela. That's our local version of well, yeah.
We had Guyanese girls. Trinidad girls are the same about all here. We're the same about all here.
Oh my God, I did not say that. I want to distance myself from those statements. All right.
Wow.
So we see the flames of industrialization at the Point Paria refinery. That is a sign of money being made in the great Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And further afield, where you see the white tanks, is actually Point Lisas. Point Lisas and Point Ebay, very close to each other on the sea bridge. Very far apart in terms of driving on the main road. All in all, Trinidad and Tobago. And El Cartouche, way out in the distance. Oh my goodness. Trinidad is looking fabulous today.
And
It is the 15th of January 2017. Excellent, excellent weather. Oil tankers lining the Gulf of Paria. Again, another sign of industrialization and good economic management.
people, look at this amazing view.
Good. That's what I'm talking about. Performance. You see, she already getting trained.
I used to run.
Okay, good.
Woo!
Nice, huh?
Spanish gear. Hey. Hola.
Hola.
Trini Gills, you see all the competition. Spanish woman.
No lie, no lie. We wasn't lying. Lots of families because, as I said before, the San Fernando Hill is what the Queen's Park Savannah is for Port of Spain.
I know what's here.
Here we have lots of wedding ceremonies. One of the best and most extravagant proposal was actually done on the San Fernando Hill here.
Really?
It took a team of over 30 people to do that presentation. It was on the news. It was featured on the news for about 5 years.
Was that Indian couple?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw it on YouTube. The people.
This speaker, is in the two
Hi, hi.
what's supposed to indicate the highest point on the hill before quarrying, and actually it was actually taller than this. But in the early 1990s, a piece of it actually broke off and fell down. This was actually left as to indicate one of the highest points on this plateau here. Of course, the highest point is on the other side. So we are going up to the viewing gallery, the official viewing gallery, where locals and foreigners come to get an excellent view of the city of San Fernando. Military vessels back up on the Venezuelan side and the French border.
So we are now off to the tippy top of San Fernando Hill. So it's only uphill from here on out. Even higher point.
Government housing.
So people, we are finally to the top of San Fernando Hill, as you can see. So, Caribbean Discoveries, we came and we have conquered once again.
The San Fernando Hill.
San Fernando Hill.
The extreme way. Not the drive up where. The extreme way.
Because we park quite to the bottom of the hill.
Very good.
So people, until our next time, our next episode, Caribbean Discoveries. Peace out.